I like to try new black and white films. This is Foma Ortho 400. Ortho means it's not sensitive to red light, and in this case it has extra sensitivity to green. It took a little bit for it to get from Europe to the United States, but it is now available at Freestyle. I've seen it a couple of other places. The price is a little high right now. It is cheaper in the UK. Here it is for €6-7. But I bought 2 rolls just to give it a try, see if I like it. Foma 400, not the Ortho, but regular Foma 400, it's not really a 400 speed film. It's a little slower, and it has extra red sensitivity. So I like it as long as I'm not shooting people. So I didn't know if I should really trust that this is a 400, but somebody said it was, so I said I'll shoot it at 400. Quickly looking at the tech sheet, right, we see here that it's extra sensitive at the green wavelengths. Now, the first bummer is it came in one of these plastic canisters, which I don't like. More often than not, I get some sort of light leaking with these canisters. I don't like them. I wish they hadn't become a thing. And it's unfortunately what the film came in. And we're going to see that it got to my rule some, I think. If you look online for reviews of Foma Ortho 400, right, you'll see some 120 reviews, and I don't know what to make of them. I'll just say that it didn't get me all that excited to try it. But, I gave it a go. I also looked on YouTube, and there were a few that were about 120, but I'm either the first or second person to make a video about Foma Ortho 35mm. All right, let's jump in. So just to go through the roll, I shot it this morning. Here, this is 100%. Oh, I should say, let me stop. Just to go through this quickly, right, there's the film. All of these shots are with the Zeiss Sonnar 50mm ZM. The Leica M3 double stroke. It's the first time I was shooting this camera. The developer is undiluted Xtol, 8 minutes at 68 degrees, 10-second inversions on the minute. That's 1 more minute than Foma recommended. I'll go ahead and say right now that I think if I was going to do it again, I'd probably actually just follow their directions and shoot it at 400. At 1 extra minute didn't really add a little extra contrast, and there were times I was kind of backing the contrast out. So I scanned on a Veloy EZ35 on a Leica SL2S with the Sigma 70mm macro. I used Capture 121. This was today. And this is just random shots around Lake Oswego, Oregon. Yeah, so here's 100%. And yeah, not a great shot, but the image quality is fantastic. And I can't believe that this is a 400 speed film. The sharpness and the grain, I don't have it side by side, but it's like it seems finer than Tri-X. I will say here, right, this is my first shot. You can see the light piping. This is my first time to shoot the M3, so I gotta can't rule out that maybe the camera has an issue. But this looks like light piping up the tongue. Here I'm on second frame, and again I'm seeing light piping up the tongue through the canister. Okay, shot 3. So now we're basically out of the light piping. And I loaded this in dim light inside my house very carefully, right? So it's, yeah. Okay, here right? I'm really liking these dark gray tones. It's going to be something I could almost say about all these photos. Yeah, the sharpness and the grain, and I feel like I got the full box speed of 400. I like this, like, whatever. I don't. It's like I don't know if they're trying to keep this pipe warm so it doesn't freeze. I don't know what that is about. You know, Lake Oswego is this town it has a lot of money, a lot of wealthy people live there, and most of the downtown area is very clean and nice, and it almost feels like you're in Vail. But then there's other parts, right, that have been neglected, which are more interesting to photograph. Sort of funny that I left this morning thinking I was going to go shoot some people, and then I was like, oh, I'll start by just kind of checking out this parking garage that's been abandoned. And I basically never left, right? I shot this whole roll on like a one block radius. Yeah, this one is like, I'm way deep in a dark corner, and I'm just impressed that it had enough speed here. Right, and if we look, this is sort of like, right, this is impressive that this is a 35 millimeter 400 speed film. It's very dark. You know, it's just sort of an out of focus area, right? And the grain here is just like so smooth. Now, this is the first time I've shot the M3, so I'm also doing a little bit of focus testing, right? Just seeing how this camera's doing. And I already checked the whole roll. Its focus was really good. Here's the first shot that I actually think is a pretty good photo. Now, what I really like about, well, the wall on the right is barely a different color than the wall on the left, except the wall on the right was red. So there's my ortho film kicking in, which helped that, I don't know, zang, whatever that is. I came back for that Cheeto truck. I'm trying to use this, like, yeah, reflection in a window. Not a keeper, but still sort of fun. Yeah, this looks really good. You know, my conclusion here, if you can't tell already, is I really like this film. It's a much finer grain than Foma 400. It's faster than Foma 400, right? The non-ortho. The tonality is unique, right? The color sensitivity is unique. But there are some buts, right? Again, I found this sort of like, it was like a piece of paper against glass, and like water had got to it, and then maybe it froze and it cracked. I don't know what's going on here. It doesn't look, I don't know. But it had a reddishness to it, which really brought out the tonality on that. All right, this one is sort of crazy. I almost need your help. All right, I'm like mid-roll at this point, and I have what looks like, right, some type of light bleed. I'm like mid-frame, and it didn't come, right, look at this. It didn't come from the top or the bottom. So it is an M3 with a glass backplate. I'm like, man, is this some sort of static electricity? But that doesn't look like static electricity. It's a really bizarre thing. Right? Cross two. I mean, there's nothing around me that would have caused some sort of crazy flare. So it's like, whew, what is it? What is it? Tell me what you think in the comments. I really like this window. I wanted a shot. I feel like I hadn't quite got it. I do like this one. You sort of lose that it's a window, but let's come in here at 100%. Yeah. And here's another one where the wall had some red in it, which really helped drop it into a dark gray tone, which then helps some other things pop. Yeah, I mean, I already know that if I compared this to a normal panchromatic film, that I'd prefer this. This one I kind of like, this like bundle of wires against this building. Something about it seems wrong and unsafe. And sort of like the same thing's a little bit going on with the branches. You know, I'm also practicing my work with my sonar. I won't get too much into those details, but this is very much a practice role. New camera, new film, working on my sonar. That one's, yeah, really lovely. A little underexposed on that one. Yeah, I like this one. This is the Sonar 1.7. Yeah, I like this sort of top section up here too. Very interesting tones. Let's come in here. 24521 I think Xtol was a really good choice. This one sort of reminded me of a HCB photo. I took two, trying different apertures. Let's look at the sky here. I mean, the grain is almost too fine. I mean, I don't know. It just depends on what you want, right? What you want, what you're shooting. This is a surprisingly fine grain. All right, here's 100% again. I liked how this wall almost had, it's almost like a figure here, like an owl. See eyes. Initially I was drawn to this like Texas sun, but then I sort of liked just the tones across the whole scene. This little chain here. Let's go check on that. It's pretty good. Chain could maybe a little sharper, maybe. And that's the lens, not the. Yeah. So what are the butts, right? Well, the butts are like these, right? This like bizarre light bleeding. I mean, you know, it's like I don't like these plastic canisters, so like I'm not going to pay $12.99 for any film inside one of those canisters. They're almost always a light piping issue. Often they bleed 5, 6, 7 frames deep. Now here was one where I did overexpose it a little bit. And so you can kind of see these high tones right here on the wood. You can start to tell they're losing a little bit of sharpness. The grains get a little bigger. Now this one is doing it for me personally. The gray tones are really beautiful. Might be either my favorite or my second favorite shot on the roll. It's an unused gas station. I'm not like, that'd be weird if I was like staging this. No. Here, let's come back to this one. Come in. Right, it's the Sonnar at 1.7, which, right, is not that sharp, but yet I can read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right, chip. Right, it's like the film is absolutely not a limiting factor on that. And this is a really beautiful. The tones on this one are really beautiful. And just different, right? I think that's right. So that green sensitivity is just sort of throws the tones for a spin, right? It's like all right, now we're towards almost the end of the roll, and again, I'm starting to get some light bleed. Look, it goes all the way across this frame. See, it comes across here, which on the next one, it's even, right, here's where it came down the bottom and into this frame. And then, so this is the end of the roll, which what I figure here, like look at this at the very top, and then it's a tape job. So I looked at the right, I pulled it out of the trash and looked at the canister closely, and it's taped like a bulk roll, which I don't know. Are Foma films usually like that? Is this just kind of early production process? But it really seems like this was bulk rolled, like done by hand, and not done very well, right? And there's some light bleed that ruined the last 2 frames on the roll. So, right, the summary is, I really like this film. I don't like that it's $12.99, and I don't like it that it comes in one of these dumb plastic canisters. So I don't know. And it's a little bit of, I've got this like weird mystery of like, what the heck is this? You know, so I don't know. Was it my new M3? I really don't think so. But I'm going to try a different camera, and I have one more roll. And yeah, I think I have new excitement to shoot the second roll now that I've seen the results of the first. But what I really hope, Foma, is that you hear this video and say, hey, let's get this film to the United States. Let's get the price down. Let's get it in a better canister, and let's get a bunch of it to Dan Mars, because that would be cool, right? All right, take care.